Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Airport CEO, and welcome back to the new and improved Belfast International Airport. I hope you're having a good one, because I'm excited to be back. I feel like I haven't said that in forever, but I am excited to be back. I've been reading your comments. I've seen a bunch of suggestions for how we can make the airport better, and I've also seen some suggestions that we should keep the camera oriented this way, because we built the other airport one way. We're going to build this one this way, and that's completely fine by me. I'm also keenly aware of the fact that all of these people standing in here that we can see lined up are trying to get into this shop down here, which is doing very well for itself, but it's very busy is what it is. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to take out these little parts right here. And what I'd like to do is basically get another shop counter, because that seems like a good idea. Or rather, I want to get this counter, the cashier counter. I might go for the small one though, because we could get a bunch more cashiers in here and it might look better. But I think we'll try this just to see how that goes. And we'll see whether or not having 6 cashiers in here will be enough to sort of deal with the demand that this shop seems to have, which is substantial. It's definitely substantial is definitely the word. I've also gone ahead and moved the little deliveries thing and the contractors thing over here between episodes, because that's not particularly exciting, but it was definitely something that was necessary to do. And I guess what I'd like to see now is just how this place deals with all of these people, with the 6 employees, assuming they show up today. They might not show up until the start of a new shift. I really don't know. You'd think I would after years of playing this game, but there's a lot that I don't know. For example, I didn't know that in the gameplay settings, there is a realistic international stands option, which will enable a per aircraft stand toggle setting for allowing international flights. If I enable this setting, and we go back to all of my stands down here, I can now have small international flights, medium international flights, and obviously the large international flights. That has slightly changed what I want to do with the medium terminal, because medium international flights are certainly a thing. Not just large aircraft are flying internationally, medium ones do as well. Arguably small ones do as well. But to do that, I would assume needs, boarding desks in an international zone. So if I set this isn't commercial, it's general aviation. If I do this, can I make a general aviation international stand? I have my doubts, but I'm curious. So this plane is just left. Are you sure you want to change this stand's air traffic type? All scheduled flights will be canceled. Yes. So now small stand 45 is general aviation, but also international. I don't know if that's a thing. We're going to keep an eye on that stand, I guess, and see what happens. It's probably not going to work. We're certainly not going to be doing small international flights, but for the medium one, absolutely. Oh, now this is interesting. We do have a plane on that stand. We've got this guy who is going to, okay. Well, so yeah, we're just gonna, you know what? We're just gonna dismiss you. And I had a feeling this is how it was gonna be. We're just gonna set this back to normal. We'll play around with medium international stands in just a moment. Now, in other news, this place is doing very well. We're up to 1,200 sales today, which is substantial. That's a lot of sales in that shop today, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now, speaking of today, I want to start looking at putting some large runways in here, and I want to sort of recreate what we've done with all of this in this space as well. So somehow, some way, I'm going to have to build some new runways. So we're going to be looking for these guys, which are rather huge. And I think what we're going to do is just shuffle this thing over to, I'm going to say about here is completely fine. That's relatively central on the map. That should give me enough room to go around the, the approach lights on the second one of these that I'm going to end up building. And what we're going to have to do here is get some runway ramps, and I want to put them in very specific spots. So this will be the entrance, this will be the ramp for large aircraft. This is the ramp for medium aircraft, and this is the ramp for small aircraft. Now, I have seen a couple of comments talking about whether or not we should do a dedicated runway for general aviation. That is totally something we could do. To be clear, that's 100% something we could do. We could have a runway and stands anywhere. We still could theoretically build something over here for general aviation. I just like it all being together. It makes things look busy, and that's fun for me. And that's kind of the goal. That's basically where I'm at, is keeping things busy and making things look fun. Let's go ahead and cancel this flight so we can bring in this. That stand is occupied by a delayed flight. That's a problem. Let's cancel you as well and see if I can bring you into here. I absolutely cannot. All right, well, that's good. You, let's just cancel flights left and right until we find somewhere that this thing can land, which so far is nowhere. Can we keep it circling for a while until it's, until we, hold on a minute. Where is this, locate this aircraft. Give me this aircraft. You need to, why have you not left yet? What's going on here? So you're probably just waiting to leave, because I would assume there's a flight that's going to be crossing your path, and that's the problem. Yeah, that's absolutely the problem. Okay, well, that's to be expected. All right, back to the emergency. That's not the right button for it. Can we get this thing on the ground? It's gone. Oh boy. Well, that's all right. That's, yeah, fair enough. Now, coming back down to this runway, what we're going to have to do is get some pretty substantial taxiways in here. The taxiways, I think, are going to be, we're going to stick with the asphalt. I think we'll go with the, or is it concrete? What are we doing? We're doing asphalt runways, concrete taxiways, which means these guys should probably be concrete and not, well, asphalt. So let's swap you guys out. And you know what? I'm going to try these guys. I'm going to try the angled ones, and we're just going to see how that goes. I'm not convinced they're going to work very well, but we're going to give it a shot and hope for the best is what we're going to do. So down at this end of things, we want to go here, we want to go here, and we want to go right about here. And we'll just see how that goes. So the next step is going in here with the taxiways. So like I said, we're going concrete, and we need to go 7 across, and 7 by 7 is kind of the general thing. So we're going to go 7 by, or 40 by 7. Let's actually go 47 by 7, because that's a little bit easier. And then at this end of things, exactly the same, 47 by 7. And that's slowly going to create what we've done in here, or at least that's the goal. So for these runways, we can kind of have a little bit of a bigger gap between them, because we're going to have some bigger planes in here. So we'll do the 47 by 7 thing here as well. We'll do the 47 by 7 thing down here as well. And we are really chewing through some money, but this is probably going to be worth it if I can make this work, which I really hope I can do. I'm really hoping I can make this work. All right, so I suppose while all of this comes together, and hopefully this will work, I kind of have some ideas for how we can do things, because we can go down here and say that this section of taxiway is only for departures or only for arrivals. So what I think we might be able to do is sort of keep this like little double thing that's going on, but then say one part of it, maybe the top row is for, it's one way from right to left, but it's arrivals only. Then the bottom row is departures only. So there will be some crossover, but that way the top row is anything coming in, the bottom row is anything going out. I'm kind of having some thoughts here is what I'm thinking, because all the traffic is going to be, instead of sort of filtering down and having these sort of opposite lanes, they're just all looping around. It'll hopefully work. But before we do any of that, we kind of need to figure out what we're doing with the medium aircraft and the medium terminal, because now we're in a situation where I could essentially build 2 medium terminals, one domestic, one international, and I wasn't really expecting to do that. So is that a thing I want to do, and how would I do it is the question. Now, my goal is to have at least 10 medium stands, because I think we had something like 8 of them on the previous airports. But I'm now thinking I could potentially do 15. If we go into planning mode, my thinking, and I'm planning so I can kind of build whatever I want here. I was gonna try and avoid any buildings that sort of block the view of this airport. I kind of just wanted buildings across like this or like this with planes on either side. But now what I'm thinking is that we take some of your feedback, which suggested doing underground parking for a lot of things, which I love the idea of doing. So we could theoretically move our building from here up to about here and then do our buses and taxis out front with parking underneath. So that's option number one. But what I'm thinking for the international stuff is that we have like a wing of the terminal that's here. And this becomes like our international spot, basically. So this is where we do international stands. This is then an offshoot of, so all of our international security, passport checks, all that stuff would be like in here. And then we have like the main part of the terminal. This is like everything else. I don't know if it would necessarily work, but this is like our main part of the terminal. Let's say it's this big, for example, and then down through the middle of that, this is where all the other stands go. So this would allow us, and this is just rough planning. I'm not saying that this is what we're building, but my theory here is that we can have these medium international flights. So we could do 1, 2, 3, say 4 and 5 of them like that. And then we want a gap between them of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, let's say 6 and 7. So we have a little bit of room. Let's even go 8, 9, just so we have a lot of room. Basically, all the flights on this one section over here would be international. We would go in and have, say, all of this gone so we can do it properly. We would have our little sort of departures space for the domestic flights in here. It could be something like 8 by 50 right there. We would do more domestic flights on this side. This would be a lot smaller. This is just kind of my idea. And if I wanted to, we could say that, you know, these 10 are international and we do another 10 over here that are domestic. And then we divide we could do that. We could divide the entire thing into just 2 terminals, essentially. That might be what we do. That might actually just be what we do. Oh boy. Have I convinced myself to build essentially 2 medium terminals? I really wanted to avoid this design where we're doing like the horseshoe thing, but it really might just be the easiest way to do this. I mean, that oh, I might have convinced myself to do this. Or alternatively, this middle section could all be international, and then either side, it doesn't really matter where they are. I want a mix of international and domestic. Oh, just by the way, this is completely unrelated to the medium terminal. I saw a comment on the last episode talking about a lack of baggage security. I don't know if that was cut out of the episode. I really don't remember, but we do have baggage security here. Everything coming through these desks is going down here, around here. It's being filtered through exactly the same baggage security setup that we had in the original airport. I literally copied and pasted this over. Everything comes through. If it's good, it will go underground here, and then it hits a tilt tray and goes out to one of the 2 baggage bays that we have before it's, you know, wait, am I doing this the right way? Yeah, we're doing this the right way before it hits a baggage car and goes out to the plane. We're good. We have baggage security. Everything's fine. Anyway, enough yammering. Let's start. Yammering is not a word I use very often, and I need to use it more. Let's start. That's literally the definition of it as well. Let's start working on this medium terminal. I'm just going to bring a road over this way. And it's a bit of a guideline for what we're going to be doing here. So we'll go ahead and double this thing up because there is probably going to be a road straight across here. And then I suppose we need to figure out where everything else is going to be going. So what I think we'll do is get ourselves a road tunnel that goes down here. And that should be totally fine. If we go underground, we want to look into some parking underneath all of this. Although I'm not really sure what the measurements are going to be for this whole thing. I haven't quite figured that out. This is also probably a little bit too close to everything we have going on down here. So let's leave things like parking until a little bit later on. We are going to have some kind of sidewalk across here. So this guy can just go all the way over here. And this is where the building is basically going to start. It's probably, it is going to need to be a little bit bigger, at least in terms of depth, than this guy. So that's kind of what we're doing here. And that's kind of what we're aiming for. We can do a crossing right here, which I think is going to be important so that people can kind of walk over to the building. And now we just need to get to work, and I need to decide, is it a horseshoe? Is it two sort of like pillars? What am I doing here? And I'm thinking the horseshoe is going to sort of be the easiest one to go for. And thinking about it that way, we don't need, I mean, we do need a good amount of space for our medium flights to have, you know, passengers sitting, but we don't need that much. So I think I can get away with something like maybe a 5 by, oh, I don't know, a 5 by 50, like a 5 across is probably enough. We can do plenty of seating at each stand that way. We're still planning this, so this is honestly okay. We'll do the 5 right there. That gives us one part of the horseshoe. Let's say that we want to try and have our stands in pretty much the same place. So that's going to bring us down to about here. We want a gap of 2 for the roads, which means the rest of the terminal is going to be right about here. Again, planning, it's not going to be that huge, but what I can do is go in and start placing our medium stands. So these guys are going to live in line with the existing stands with a gap of 3 apparently. So we'll bring that terminal building down a little bit. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Which means we need to bring the terminal building down just that little bit further, which is completely fine by me, and just that little bit further right here as well. Because then what I can do is bring some service roads straight through above this, meaning that my vehicles can loop around in a way that's kind of satisfying. We can also do a little gap here of, do I want to do 7 or 9? 9 gives us a bit more room for the planes to kind of turn around and do their thing. 7's probably fine. We'll do 7 to sort of save space because we are going to be dealing with a lot of space when it comes to the larger flights. And then now we're going to go in with another set of 5 of these guys. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which brings us to a middle section. And then we basically just copy and paste this over, which is going to be completely fine. So we'll get ourselves a little bit of service road here. And how am I going to connect this all together? I haven't really figured that out yet. I suppose for now, we'll do something like this, which gives us access to all of these buildings. We will probably have more service buildings in and around all of this, but just for now, this is what we're going to go for. We'll bring our taxiway the entire way up to, I want to say here, I want to say I might just pave this entire thing. Honestly, I think that's probably easier. So we'll bring this down to here. And like I said, we've just paved the whole thing. Makes life that little bit simpler. I don't have to go too crazy with, you know, trying to get things to line up or whatever. Now, I will say I kind of want to save on space a little bit here. So controversially, perhaps, I'm going to take out these lower stands. I think they just need to go. I think all of this can go. It's still going to give us 8 stands right here, which is what we had on the previous airports, which means overall we're going to have 16 medium stands, which is absolutely huge. That's a lot of medium aircraft that we're going to be dealing with. So I'm completely fine with doing this. We'll take this out. We'll take you out as well. We'll just take all of this out and sort of rebuild it just to get those walls back. We can take out all of this as well as these guys. If, oh, no, can't remove active objects. That's fine. We can go in and just remove this this way, which makes life that little bit easier. Now, there's 2 reasons I wanted to do that. One is just to reduce the number of planes a little bit. And number 2 is we do need some de-icing stands for the medium aircraft. So I figure this is the easiest way to do it. Now, when it comes to figuring out this sort of middle concourse here, what is it that we did over on this side in terms of size? It was 5 across. So this one I think is going to be 10. And in doing this, I'm kind of thinking that this could actually be our international concourse. So you have domestic flights over here, you have domestic flights over here, you have all your international stuff in the middle. I think that might make my life a little bit easier if I do that, because I can have passport checkpoints right here. So you go through security, you go into the same space as everybody else, and then you go to your passport checkpoint, you go into the international concourse. It's one of those moments through an airport where you're, you know, all the signs are like, once you go through here, you can't go back. Make sure you've done all your shopping, or make sure you've done whatever you got to do, because once you go through this checkpoint, there's no going back. So that might be the plan for this. We'll kind of design this when we get there. But for now, let's go ahead and put the rest of these stands in here. That is a large stand. That is not what we're looking for just yet. All right, so obviously this whole thing at the top here is absolutely unnecessary. It is way too much space for what we're going to be doing here. But I don't want to start working on all of that until it's a little bit brighter in game. I'm trying to avoid building all my stuff at night. But what I can do, since we're going to be working down here, is at the very least go around and start planning out some doors on all of the, actually, no, what am I, oh, there's the important question. Do we want to do jetways? Because if we want to do jetways, this is all completely pointless, this whole lower section. But what do you do about that in this game? Because you need the foundation, right? Unless you do a dedicated little staircase that goes up to the jetway, but then that seems pointless. Why don't you just take the stairs up to the aircraft outside? I mean, then again, you don't have to go outside to get on the aircraft. I've never quite figured out jetways. There's not enough stuff to put in a big airport when at this level to like justify having 2 floors, right? Because this realistically would just need to be a corridor, and then you put everything upstairs. Or you could put your seating down here, then stairs or an elevator up to the jetway to go out to the plane. It would save on stair trucks. I don't know if it matters. I really don't. I mean, for the international flights, I feel like it's important, but even then, I don't really know. And also, how do you, I guess you plan for it by just building the entire upper section. I guess maybe the domestic flights use stair trucks, maybe the international ones use jetways, and that's how we kind of get all of our passport control in here as well. And then I can put all of my baggage handling on this lower floor. That might actually not be a bad idea. That might, oh, I might be onto something with that one. Okay, we'll give that a shot. We'll do the doors and the stair trucks for our domestic flights. And I guess we'll see what happens with the international flights, which is a choice. It's certainly a choice to mess around with it that way, but I'm excited. Gives me multiple floors to play with. It gives me space up here for all of my international passengers. And like I said, it means I can probably put my passport checkpoint up here instead of trying to cram it into a space, you know, in here. It might work. It probably won't. It probably won't, but we're gonna try. Okay, so this is the front of the building that we're working with at the moment. I've just chopped some parts out so I can clearly see that this is the middle. And I think what I'm gonna do is, do I want to bring it back further? I mean, we're gonna need some pretty serious queues, and we're gonna need a lot of check-in space. I'm just worried about how much space we're gonna have. I really want to try and avoid just unnecessary empty space in here. I feel like we've done a pretty good job of that with the other airport, but this one is enormous right now. It really, really is. So we'll see what we can do. We'll have some fun with this. We'll do a set of doors here and here, and some doors here and here. This is our midpoint, but we'll do the doors on either side. We'll do a nice window in the middle there, and we'll do a nice window here and over here as well. So people can enter the airport from here and here on those sides. Let's do our logo in here, and we'll turn it around so people can read it coming through, which is going to be, I guess, there. Do I want to go a bit bigger with that? I feel like I do. We'll go like a 5x5 right about there. Yeah. Actually, maybe we just do something slightly smaller. We'll do like a 4x4, or maybe I don't really know what I want to do with it, to be quite honest with you. Let's just do this. We'll do a couple of little 2x2 logos right in front of the door. So that's, you know, marking our entrance. I think I'm also going to do a little bit of, just a little bit of flooring here because we're dealing with a much larger scale for this whole thing. This is going to let me see at a glance the entrance to the airport. This isn't necessarily going to stay, but it just means that when I zoom out like this, I can see there's the entrance, there's the entrance. Now, I do feel like this airport should have some information desks pretty much front and center, much in the same way that we've done that before. So I think what we'll do is put a couple of these curved info desks here, and I'm going to do some of the slightly smaller info desks just over here on the side as well. I think that could look kind of interesting. And I might go so far as doing like a little something here as well, because usually near the front of an airport you do have some info desks, a little something like this. They're usually more for, I mean, you'll occasionally have airline info desks. Usually sometimes you'll get like rental car info desks as well, which is fine. I think this is kind of a cool little idea just to sort of pad some space in here and make this feel a little bit more used than it realistically needs to be. This is also something I've never really done before, is play around with info desks for decoration. So this is kind of fun, I suppose. It's definitely a new thing for me. So we'll do this. We'll have like the whole bunch of info desks set out this way. And then I kind of want to do some kind of bathroom setup here as well. Now we're going to be dealing with a lot of people coming and going here. So let's figure out what we're doing. This will be a bunch of stalls. Then we need room for sinks in the middle. So this will be a gap, then sinks, wall, sinks, gap, stall, stall. So wall here, basically. If I've done my math right, which I think I have, we can do a wall down through the middle here, which is going to have our sinks. The thing is, I have to build this in stages. So I'm going to copy this over to here. I'm then going to set this as a bathroom. If I'm remembering this right, I'm pretty sure this is how you do it. So set this as a bathroom, and then you have to go in and build that center wall, which I might do. Oh, how do I want to do this? I'll do it this way. So we're going to have more stalls than we do sinks, but honestly, that's fine. We'll do this as well. And then we'll go in, we'll get our stalls. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just line the wall. I'm not really going to be going for, you know, too much design on this because we do really need a lot of bathrooms for the number of people that are going to be coming through here. And then we'll do the sinks just like this, and the same over on this side as well. Should be perfectly fine. And that'll be a nice little pair of bathrooms that we can, I suppose, while we're here, put some tiles into. So tiles just here, and we'll do the same over on this side with a bunch of tiles right here. And I suppose while we're doing all that, we should make this an entirely staff focused area, and the same thing over here as well with all of these guys. We'll make that like a little staff area, and we'll do a little door just here and a little door just here, and maybe a window back there would be nice as well. All right, so I just zoomed out to get an idea of how much ridiculous space we're working with, and this is ridiculous. It is it's so much. We have so much space to play with here. I'm not entirely sure that I want to do shops on this side of things, to be honest with you. I don't know if we need shops on this side of things. Like, I kind of just want to put shops in the whole concourse setup, but man, we have so much space to play with. Also, looking at these stripes is messing with my eyes. It's really, I'm having some issues looking at this, which is really fun. So I've got that going for me. That's always nice. We do probably want to do some self check-in and self bag drop for this whole setup, now that I think about it. So how do I want to deal with that? I do like the idea that we're going to have queues kind of front and center. They are going to be substantial, I would imagine. So we'll move them to here, which is, yeah, that's probably enough. We could probably go a little bit shorter. I want to say we could go about here with these, and that should be all right. I like leaving some gaps between these where I can, because I think that's probably fair enough. And I like the idea that we have a good number of them. So that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's 8. I don't know that that's going to be enough. It might be. It also might not be. I really, really hadn't thought about this. Let me think. How many medium stands can we connect to a single baggage bay is the question. So medium stands are 1.5 points. So 1.5 and 1.5 is 3. That's 2, 3, 4 is okay. We can do 8, I want to say, per. So this should be fine, I think. I want to say this will be fine. I'm gonna say that this is probably all right, especially once we do self bag drop as well. This is probably more than enough. So let's go in and do what we usually do. We'll put some walls between these guys to start with, because I do like myself some little dividing walls in here. I think that's important. And down at this end of things, we'll sort of double it up, because that's how staff are going to be getting back there, which is also important. These walls actually need to go back a little bit further, because we're going to have the escalators going down for the baggage. So they'll go back to about there, which is great. We'll bring this down, and we really don't need that much space back here. So we're just going to do something like that, and that'll be totally fine. We can go in there as we usually do with some little doors, and we can go in there as we usually do and just make that entire thing a beautiful staff zone. So I think when it comes to security on this whole thing, we're going to go for something relatively simple / straightforward. At least that's the hope that I'm going for. What I have done is I've gone ahead and made this into an international zone and secure zone. This is obviously secure here. So we need a crossover point in this way is what we need. So what I'm going to do is build an elevator, which I guess is going to go, well, here. Must be placed in, oh wait, I'm not in planning mode anymore. That's why. We need to go back into planning mode, and then we need to get our elevator. And the elevator is basically going to live here. And this is our crossover point from this is how you get up to the secure area. So what I think we'll do is something like, oh, how do I want to do this? I really haven't quite figured this out yet. Okay, we'll do the elevator here because that seems fair enough. We'll do some walls around it, and I would also kind of like some escalators, because we do kind of have the room up here to play with escalators. So why not play with escalators? That just seems like a great idea. So we'll do this and we'll do this, so you have multiple ways to get up to this guy, which again is going to be our little, this is basically where passport control is going to be. That's kind of the idea, is you go up here and get your passport checked, and then you go into the international zone, which you can't come out of. So that's the plan. Whether or not that works is to be determined. I'm also realizing that both of these, the escalators and the elevator, need to be moved down by 1, because then I can take out all of the unnecessary terminals. So goodbye to all of that. And let's redo it very quickly by just shuffling it to there. Okay, so this is how people are getting up to the international zone. We'll deal with the passport control stuff in a little bit, because what I'm thinking I might try and do is actually get the domestic flights up and running before we do the international stuff, so we can start making a bit more money. Which is relatively straightforward, because all we need now is a security space and some boarding desks, and we're golden. Well, no, we need baggage claim as well. We need baggage security, but other than that, we're pretty much golden. And let's keep in mind that baggage, at least baggage handling, is going to go through this building right here, which is going to be perfect. So yeah, we need to figure this out. We need to figure out how security is going to look. Now, I do like the idea that security is basically going to be a little double door right here and a little double door right here. And I like the idea that people are going to be led into just a little corridor. And I like the idea that that corridor is sort of going to lead around the way we have done before, but I might have it lead across a little sooner. So it comes over here, and then it goes over here, and then this is where I can sort of come down. or at least we can figure out roughly where it's going to come down once we figure out how big the security checkpoints need to be, because they do need to be, well, sizable. So if we look at these guys, let's go ahead and bring some security checkpoints up to, oh, I don't know. I mean, we don't need a tremendous, I mean, we do need a lot of space for them. We don't need a huge amount of space for queues if we do a lot of security checkpoints. And I'm pretty sure they're like 8 by 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're about 8 by 8 small tiles. So this would be fine. And then we can do a queue that's like 3 tiles deep or 2 tiles deep. 2 tiles deep doesn't seem like enough. Let's shuffle this down by 1. So instead of going up to here, we go up to this spot, which should be fine. So 8 by 4 there. This would be 2 security checkpoints. This would be 3. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. Let's do 6 of them. That seems like a good idea. So that gives us a 48 tiles across from there, which is totally fine by me. So we want to do the same thing here. We want to go 48 over this way, and then go in with the medium security checkpoints. They come down to about here. This is going to chop away a little bit of our departure space, but keep in mind this middle section is just it's just transport. That's all it is. Anyone departing on these stands down here, they are going to they're going upstairs. So that'll be totally fine. We'll do our 6 security checkpoints over here. We will do 6 of them over here. And let's keep in mind, I'm probably going to demolish all of these at some point once the first one gets built and I put the queues in, but that's for then. This is for now. What we'll also do is something like this and something like this. And if I want to, I could put a staff room in here. It's a bit of a huge staff room. I don't know if that's necessary, but we're probably going to do some kind of staff room in there because that's about all I can think of for that space. When it comes to the security stuff, let's bring some walls down here. And I suppose we could have people exiting here and over here. Although I'd like to avoid a situation where people are like walking up through this to get, they're going like through the security space. So instead of doing that, we'll do the exits. Oh, how do I want to do the exits? That is the question. I guess we could do one in the middle, or we could just do, I don't know, a door here and a door here. I guess that works too. It's a little simpler than what I like to do. I usually like to have the whole little corridor thing going on, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to be an option. Now, I will say the one cool thing we can do with this little sort of cutaway space here is go in and place our self check-in things, which can only be placed with a baggage drop nearby. So let's just do those first, I guess. We'll go ahead and put it right there. And then in theory, I can place these guys across these walls, which I do like the idea of doing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of those should be enough. And then what we can do is get these guys and line them up whatever way we need to line them up. So how do I want to line them up is the real question. That's what I've got to ask myself here. 1, 2, 3, 4 of those should be fine. We can do 1, 2, 3, 4 right about here as well. And I want to say that's fine. I want to say that's enough. I want to say that's all we need. Not 100% sure that it is, but that's what we're going to be going for. We'll do some walls here and here just to sort of enclose these guys because I think that's important. We'll do some walls here and here to enclose these guys because I think that's important as well. And maybe a little space up this way could be enclosed as well. I don't really know if that's necessary. I mean, we absolutely could put more self check-in desks up here or self check-in kiosks up here, but I think this is probably fine. I think this will be enough. What we can do is go ahead and put these high-speed escalators down across all of these, and then all of these ones as well. So that'll filter things down underground. And we can also copy and paste this entire thing over to the other side so that it's all nicely installed nice and quickly. Now, there are 2 things that I want to do for this space before we start bulldozing the access terminal. Thing number 1 is that I want to remember to get some security exits in here. And thing number 2 is that I want to remember to get baggage claim in here. And I guess thing number 3 is maybe some shops would be a bit of an idea. So let's play around a little bit with that specific idea and figure out what exactly we would do for shops in here. Now we can go a little bit larger with these, which is always fun. So how large are we talking when it comes to these shops? Let's do something like this. Let's do a nice 16 by 12, maybe an 18 by 12 right about there should be fine. I think that's probably a good size. So an 18 by 12 right there. Over on this other side, it's the same story. We will do a nice 18 by 12, something like this. And I like building these first because what it lets me do, in fact, I want to go a little bit larger than that. I want to go not 18 by 12. I want to go 20 or 19. We'll do, oh, how do we want to go? 20 by 12. Because that way, if I take out this bit of foundation, it's lined up nicely. We're probably not going to take out that bit of foundation, but if we do, it's lined up nicely. So I like doing the shop zones first because it means that I can build walls afterwards and still have the shop zone be quite large, which is really useful because that's what you need for some of the contracts. So this is fine. This is kind of what we're looking for. And then what I'd like to do is figure out how people are getting out of here. So I'd like to try and keep that stuff all together. I think what we can do is go in here and say that maybe our security zone sort of extends this way and maybe our security zone sort of extends this way. We can get our security exits to be here and over here as well. And that's totally okay. Although a bit of a weird sort of size that we've got going on, unfortunately, but that's okay. I guess that's just something we're gonna have to deal with, which is all right. I could do this. I could do 2 security exits, which honestly wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. And I think that is what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 security exits because I'm going to have some fun bulldozing some stuff to make this terminal a little bit smaller. So right about there, and we'll do the same thing just over this way as well with a second security exit here. And the reason I'm doing that is because when it comes to demolishing the terminal, I can basically take out essentially all of this is going to go. At least all of that's going to go. And I'm okay with that. So let's do the same over on the other side. Let's start taking out parts of the terminal that we're not going to be needing. So all of this can go as well. And we're starting to get somewhere with this. We're definitely starting to get somewhere with this, which is good. A lot of this is probably going to go as well. And this will probably be our baggage claim space. So let's take out all of you. And let's take out all of you as well. You know, I've just realized that even with all the planning that I'm doing here, I've still forgotten to make space for airline lounges, which is slightly frustrating because I did really like building those on the last airport. Now, admittedly, I could still build them upstairs by each terminal, so we could still assign certain airlines to certain stands and kind of do it that way, which is honestly probably what we're gonna have to do because a lot of this is just gonna be seating. There are gonna be a lot of people wanting to go to these medium stands. So I think what we'll do is go ahead and divide this space over here, which does mean we're gonna have to use a double sort of thick wall, but that's fine. I want to put a door here and I want to put a door here. And I'm going to say that both of these spaces are going to be staff rooms, basically. Can I just do this? I totally can. So yeah, we're just going to do this for 2 separate staff rooms, which is fine. I would like to just sort of do rotational symmetry on some seating in here is kind of my goal. It doesn't really, in fact, yeah, we'll just do a bunch of seating in these little staff rooms here, and that'll be fine. We probably don't need that many desks because we don't have that many administrators. But again, we'll do a few of them just to sort of fill up the space a little bit. We can kind of do something like this. And I guess that's fine. We'll go in, we'll copy this, and we can rotate it and then just place it. Oh, I can't place it there. Wait a minute. Oh, it's not rotational. It's mirrored symmetry I'm looking for. Wait, no, it isn't. It is rotational symmetry because it's the same thing on this one. Never mind. We're good. Everything's okay. Let's get our nice orange rug underneath all of that. That gives us a staff room at the front end of the airport on the land side. It gives us a staff room on the air side as well, which is fantastic. And it gives us a relatively small footprint for this airport, which is also fantastic. Now, when it comes to the upstairs part here, we probably would be better doing the passport checkpoints sooner than later, because what we need to do is make sure that there's enough of them for what we're trying to do here. But we also need to make sure that there's passport checkpoints coming out of this space as well, which is going to be slightly trickier. So let's take out this part of the international zone. I don't want to get too close to this stand, but I do want to get a little closer. In fact, no, we'll be fine. We'll do this. We might not have as many queues as would be ideal, but we're also not going to be doing any manual passport checks. So how do I want to do this? I guess we'll start with a bunch. I think that's the official term. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 should be fine. And on the other side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 should be fine. I've basically it's this gap right here that I've measured out. In fact, let's go a little bit wider on each side. We'll go for 9. 9 in, 9 out should be all right. We don't need to do a wall in here. I think we'll just do some hedges across this entire thing just to sort of separate it all. That seems like a nice way to do this. We can do something like that. We'll do the same thing over on this side. Same thing over on this side. Don't know how secure that would necessarily be, but you know what? It's fine. So I suppose now is about as good a time as any to figure out this baggage situation, because it's never going to be simple and it's never going to get easier. So let's go and start copying and pasting all of this again, because I honestly think this is just the best way to do this whole baggage thing that we have going on. So we'll copy all of this is what we're going to do. We're going to bring it over to here, and I want to put it basically in this space right here. It doesn't need to be perfectly central, but I'd like it to be somewhere that's conveniently out of the way, because we might have some roads coming down here. So we'll go for, I mean, honestly, we can tuck it right over by the wall now that I think about it. So let's go for right about here for the baggage security thing, which apparently, interesting. Oh, no. I see my problem. That was not a planning mode copy and paste. That was very much a regular copy and paste. Let's give that another shot. And that gives us this right here, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now, when it comes to all of this, everything except for this guy and this guy, that's all going to security. Every bit of this needs to go to baggage security, and then it can hit tilt trays and go wherever it needs to go after the fact. So I think the easiest way to do it is going to be to just bring everything through on some conveyor belts. So I'm going to come over like this, and we are going to come over like this. We're going to come down to here. This is all regular conveyor belt as well. We actually probably, given how far we're going to be going with this, we definitely want to use the high speed conveyor belts. So let's grab you, and we'll do exactly that same thing. We're going to come over to here. We are going to come over to here. We'll bring this down to about that spot, and we're going to come over a little something like this. So every bag coming into this airport is going to get fed onto this set of conveyor belts. We can, if I want to, get a little bit cute with this and start bringing things back and looping it all around in all sorts of crazy ways. But basically, it all goes down to there. So every single bag is loaded onto this conveyor belt, goes through this security checkpoint, and then it's going to go underground again. In fact, I think we can take a lot of these guys out. We can make that a little bit shorter, and we'll do a high-speed escalator down, and that should be fine. Although it doesn't need to be a high-speed escalator down now that I think about it. It can stay on a regular conveyor belt or on a conveyor belt above ground, because this is where I'm going to try and put all of our baggage bays, because they do fit in here, which is fantastic. So I think the easiest way to do this is going to be, how do I want to do this? I want to say over here is probably the best spot for it. So I think we're going to need 2 of these for now. We might need more. We might end up needing more, but we'll do 2 for the time being, and we can do something like this, and that should be fine. In terms of roads, that's kind of why we have a road coming into the building up at the top of this thing. because what I can do is basically just run this road up to here, and that's how our little baggage cars are going to get in here, which is fantastic. I could run the road down this way as well, which honestly wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. So I think that is also what we're going to do, just so the baggage cars have multiple options. In fact, I think I'm going to do it this way so that if we do expand baggage, it's easy enough to put more baggage bays in there. But for right now, this is sort of my plan. So if we go back to these conveyor belts, we can get a tilt tray. I want to turn off those overlays, man. They're so rough. And basically this is going to come down, tilt tray right here. We are going to have I guess we'll do some high speed stuff from about this spot. We'll just kind of bring this guy down to here. We'll bring this guy down to here and run it into this guy. So that's going to work really nicely. This is going to run into here. And this one, since it's going to baggage claim, is just going to go underground pretty much instantly. So right about there and right about there, we can go underground with it. We can run some conveyor belts up to here. And I guess we just run them out and around. We run it all to a tilt tray and see how it goes. The other bit of good news is I can run this all around like this. So we're going to see a really nice little sort of spaghetti junction of baggage conveyor belts. It's going to look really cool under here, especially with how many bags are going to be coming and going. It's going to look great. And then I suppose the last thing we have to do is get some check-in desks for all of this. Now, I do like having the manual desks, or not check-in desks, boarding desks. I like having the manual ones. I think the self-boarding gates are just going to be faster. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do 4 of them per medium flight this time instead of the 2 that we have for the smaller flights. And I guess we're going to sort of copy what we did over there. We're going to have these, we'll have, do I want to do 4 or do I want to do 6? I think I might do 6 just because I think it's going to be a little bit easier. I'd also like to sort of enclose them a little bit in some of these guys, some of these hedges, because I think that's going to look cool. So we'll get ourselves just 2 more of these guys. A little something like that should be fine. And then we need to figure out seating around all of this. Now, I know I can get 2 sets of these smaller chairs here, which I think is great. And then we can get some of the larger chairs here and here, which I also think is great. We can get some larger chairs back here as well, which might not be a terrible idea. Although I would like to bring them down this way a little bit, I think. Yeah, I think that's a good idea because it keeps that gap in the middle, which is great. And then I kind of want to try and surround this a little bit. I want to try and make this almost an enclosed thing so people aren't going to be walking through it to get to another stand. So we do have some glass along here. We have some windows. I'm going to break my usual golden rule of not building anything up against windows. And I'm going to do this. Now that's probably not enough seating for the planes that are going to be coming in here. So this might actually need to get changed up a little, but this is going to stop people from walking through here that aren't going and getting on this plane, which I'm going to be very happy about because it means everything's going to be a little bit neater and tidier and things should just move better, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, so it has been several hours since I started the process of building this new terminal. When I did all that, it was about 1:30 p.m. It is now approaching 5 p.m. and it took all of that time to build all of this. And that's with a little bit of cheating. Now, I didn't turn on sandbox mode, but I did turn off the simulated construction for the last little bit of this because it was just taking an unreasonable amount of time. And you can tell I did that because this wall down here is on the road, which it shouldn't be, but we can fix that by just taking that out. You can tell I've turned on the simulated construction again because my construction workers are going to come out to do this. Not that I need to. It looks like people can just drive through that wall without any issue, but generally this took forever. We also seem to have some fuel trucks running around here. Are you guys not assigned to any parking structure? You could go in there, which would be great. I would kind of like you guys to go in there if you wouldn't mind. So let's assign you there, I guess. We've got this one running around doing nothing as well. We can assign you in there, I suppose. And we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping they can still pick up some fuel, which it looks like I don't know what they're doing. I don't know where they're going. Were they just turning around to get down? It doesn't matter. You know what? Here's what we're gonna do, and here's what I wanna do. Now that this whole thing is up and doing what I want it to do, where are you going? You do have an assignment, right? Yeah, you absolutely do. Now that this whole thing is where I want it to be, aside from the international part, which we'll deal with in the next episode, I can now go ahead and shift click all of our domestic stands and turn them on, in theory, which I can absolutely do, which means we should have 8 of those stands, and we do have them in here, but we should have those getting assigned relatively quickly. I have assigned one of them to be maple only, which is this one down here, because I figure what we can do is build like a big sort of airline lounge down here and have that be kind of a fun thing. In fact, looking at this space, I could probably get 2 decent airline lounges in there. So I'll tell you what, let's assign this one to, do we want to do Olympus organization again? I don't know that I do. I might do Nordic this time, just because Nordic is one that we haven't played with too much on this run. So we'll get their logo in here nice and quickly. So we want to go and do like a, what is that, a 4x4 just ahead of the arrow. We can totally do that. So a little 4x4 right there for the Nordic logo. Looks pretty good to me. And then in here, we'll just do something like this so we can tell it is the Nordic stand. Now, we don't have anything scheduled at the minute, but we do have a capacity of 350, which is fantastic. And we do have all of this set up and running. There are some patches where the old asphalt's still in here. And honestly, I'm kind of inclined to keep that because I think it tells a little bit of a story of what used to be here. We've got all of these connections in here, and I've done all the markings to say that this top part is arrivals only beyond this point. So anything coming down here will cross over into the departures only part of the taxiway. I'm hoping this works. I'm hoping this is good. I'm hoping we start to see, and we are starting to see, some medium flights here, which is fantastic. We should be seeing, therefore, some people coming through here, which we absolutely do, which I absolutely happen to love. And I'm looking at this and realizing that, why are you guys all going back through? Where are you going? You're all employees, right? Yeah, those are all employees that are leaving. Okay, we're probably all right. We do probably want to get some people movers in here at some point and get people moving a little bit quicker, because this is quite a distance for them to walk in both directions. But just for now, I just want to see this thing working. I just want to see medium flights come through here. We are below $8 million, which is, I mean, we've spent so much money today. It'll bounce back. Don't get me wrong. We have these 8 stands ready to go. We have 8 more in the next episode that are all international. We're going to be okay. It's just that at the moment, there is a little bit of a global economy crash going on, which is going to last for 3 days and 13 hours. And also, we probably did kill airline reputations a little bit by, you know, canceling all of their flights once upon a time. But we should have, and we do have, our first medium flight of the new terminal here, which is amazing. It's going to be going up this way, which you love to see. It's then going over that way, which you don't love to see. I didn't think about that. I'm going to be honest. I didn't think about that. You are going to be set to 1. In fact, you could technically be 2-way if you were departures only, but I'm going to set it to 1-way. I'm going to set it to departures only, and I'm going to go over this side and do exactly the same thing. 1-way in and departures only. So anything coming out can go and get de-icing done if it needs to. Otherwise, they have to taxi the whole way across here, which is sort of the goal. Now, looking at this guy, we have the passengers getting off the flight, which is amazing. We have the bags getting loaded into a little, what do you call it there, baggage cart, which is also amazing. And these guys are coming around. We've got them going through security, hopefully straight into baggage collection, or baggage claim is the word I'm looking for. I'm exhausted. I'm not even going to lie. I've been sitting staring at this for, beyond exhausted. This is only what we've got 2 more terminals to go, man. We got to do the international ones in the next episode. We got to do the big ones probably in the next episode. We got to do the helicopters. Like there's still so much to do. Why is there it's a Maple Vintage flight up there. Okay. Yeah, I think the airlines hate me. I'm gonna be honest, unless something's been scheduled for tomorrow. Oh no, tomorrow is a little bit busier. Okay. And then Wednesday is not, but we're getting there. we're making some progress slowly. So what I'm curious about with this plane going out is whether or not it is going to go straight across down here once this guy passes, because that is what it should be doing. Or maybe once these guys all pass, we might have some tailbacks here and there, but it is doing what I wanted it to do. So this entire upper part here is, this part is essentially useless because the small planes are going to go up that way. No planes are going to take this upper part here. So we might, and we probably do want to make some changes, but this is still progress. We have this guy coming in. It's not taking the shortcut across the de-icing pads, which is fantastic news. That's a good looking plane too. We get everybody getting off, which is great. We got the bags coming out. We get refueling going ahead. You love to see it. Oh, I love to see it. I'm so happy about this. I'm hoping that baggage is getting handled properly. I suppose we can just sit here and watch. So we get these bags getting taken out to the plane, I'm sure, which is great. We should have some bags being brought in, which we do right there. If we look underground, they're getting filtered through here, which does look very cool with all those bags going around. And then they're heading over to this baggage claim, which is what we want to see. We should see them, and we do see them coming up there. Oh man, this was worth it. This was totally worth it. It's I'm very, very happy about this. We have another flight coming in there. Tuesday is getting a little bit busier. I'm excited for this this cluster of flights to come in just around what is that, like 12:30? It's gonna be busy, and that's what we want to see. Oh, now this is really interesting. We're being offered international flights, but we can't accept them because the international stand part isn't up and running. So, I mean, the only thing stopping this from being up and running is the fact that I have it turned off. So I guess we're turning this thing on today is what we're doing. This wasn't really part of the plan, but I figure we might as well, and we're just gonna see what happens if I just turn all of those on. They do, I mean, admittedly, like I said, this whole place up here isn't finished, and that's something I do want to spend some time doing. I can do it between episodes. I'll figure out when I'm gonna do that and how I'm gonna do that. But at the very least, we have all of this space here for passport control. We can put queues on this. I'm not going to because it's not gonna make much of a difference, but we should see some more medium flights start to get scheduled. We have an international OK Air flight right here, which is very exciting. We don't have too many other international flights scheduled at the moment, but this should make us a fair bit busier, and we should start to see a lot more people come through, especially people that are going to start going upstairs to go through the passport control, which is, again, what we're looking to see. We are losing money at the minute as well, so I think it's important that we maybe do go ahead and start figuring out these international flights that little bit sooner. I'm not against having this stand as well be maybe, I don't know, 4 OK Air, since they're like the only ones that wanted to go to flight medium aircraft stand 30. So if I could find that stand, this is 26, 27, 28, 29, so that's 30, right? That's 32. That's 30. So let's set that for OK Air. I'm kind of okay with that idea. Is it OK Air or is it OK Air Vintage is the question. That is something I don't know. You are with OK Air. I don't. So you're with this one. Is this vintage? This is OK Air Vintage. Oh, for God's sake. Okay. All right. You know what? It doesn't matter. We're not. We're just doing any airline. I don't care. I'm also going to turn off the auto planner for a second and I'm just going to stack some flights in here. Wait, this is domestic. I need to go up to here. I'm just going to sort of stack some flights into some of these spaces and just sort of see what happens, I think. Because that seems like kind of a fun time, just experimenting a little bit with with flight planning. So we'll do this, and that'll be fine. Those might have been regular OK air flights. It doesn't matter. We'll turn the auto planner back on because we do have a Maple flight coming through at the minute to the dedicated Maple stand, which is this one. It has landed. It should be taxiing. That's not it. It is this one. Okay. So it is making its way over, which we love to see. We should have some people sitting around here, which we absolutely do. I did go ahead and place some people movers because I figured, you know, they will probably appreciate having these given how long it takes to walk around everywhere. That's it's definitely helping them a little bit, which is absolutely fantastic. We have the Maple flight now deboarding, which again, we love to see. These guys are all dipping in here for some reason and then dipping. Don't do that. Don't do that. I don't want them doing that. I really don't like that they're doing that. We'll figure that out in a little bit. At the very least, we have them getting out of here nice and quick, which again is beautiful. We have our first international flight, should be here any second. I think that's our first international flight right there, which is amazing. Very, very happy about that one. So if we go here and have a look, wait a minute. You know what I've not done? I haven't assigned any pushback trucks, and I haven't got any baggage trucks or ramp trucks for the international stands. That's why I didn't open them. Okay, let's figure that out. We're gonna need 8 of these guys is what we're gonna need. So order those. We're gonna need 8 of these guys is what we're gonna need, and we'll get those ordered as well. And then we need pushback trucks. We need the small push force pushback trucks. We'll go ahead and order those as well. We probably do have some trucks roaming around, so we should be okay. At least we can refuel this thing. Can you guys... Oh, you guys are getting through there. No problem. Look at that. Very cool. Very, very cool. So they do that. That's amazing. That's exactly what we're looking for. Okay. Where are you? Oh yeah, you were the Maple one. Okay. So they're manually unloading baggage, which is fine. That's good. We now need to assign a bunch of vehicles to a bunch of stands, which is never exciting, but it's necessary. All right, so the vehicles are all here. They're not really being assigned properly, which honestly isn't the end of the world because they can at least roam around and we can deal with all the international flights that way, which is what we're looking for. We also have these flights crossing over the way I was hoping they would, which is fantastic. We do have a lot of traffic starting to build around here, which is a little bit problematic, but I'm sort of okay with that because this is very cool, is what this is. This is very, very cool seeing these flights start to do their thing. I'm very, very happy about that. I love seeing all these people going through passport control, which is great. We don't have too many people down here. I mean, we do, but we've definitely seen busier airports, although things are about to get kind of crazy is what they're about to do. I might have spoken a little bit too soon on that. We are seeing passenger service agents being a little bit overwhelmed. That's not even remotely surprising. They'll manage. Whether or not security manages is to be determined, but the passenger service agents will certainly manage. These shops in here, I know they're not done yet, but they absolutely will be. I'm not really super concerned about those just right now. Oh, now this is what we want to see. We have so many flights coming in here, which is absolutely amazing. A couple of domestic ones right there. We have a domestic one up the top right here as well. My frame rate is absolutely falling apart. I think I think the game might be sending a lot of people into the airport, or at least through the airport right now. A whole lot of them standing out here waiting on buses as well, which is to be expected. Let's have a little bit of a look, I suppose, at what's going on, because even the autosave's struggling a little bit. I think we just have a lot of people. I think the airport's doing a lot of calculations to figure out exactly what I've done here and why the pathfinding is so different to how it used to be. I don't really know, but I love seeing this up and running. We're still not making money, which is interesting. If we look at the dailies at the minute, we've lost more today than we did yesterday, and yeah, well, I mean, 180,000 in construction's fair enough, but yeah, we're still We're still not doing everything we could be doing. I do think this airport might have been getting propped up quite a bit by that one shop that was making millions. So we might want to get these shops in here sooner than later. Now, the last thing I would like to do before we wrap things up for today is enable catering and cleaning for the aircraft, because I completely forgot that those would be switched off, which means that all of these incoming planes can now request catering and cleaning services, which will make us even more money, which is exactly what we want to do. This one, for example, is wanting both, which is amazing news. So we have the trucks coming around to do their thing, which again is a little bit of extra money that we otherwise wouldn't have. We have so many planes coming in here as well, which I absolutely adore. And I love that this little idea here for the sort of lower departures section is kind of working. I mean, yes, it does occasionally cause tailbacks for stupid reasons, like this plane having the right of way, or maybe both of these having the right of way over that one. It's a little bit weird, but for the most part, it's working. We are seeing planes queuing to get onto the runways, but that's sort of to be expected. It's not like they're waiting for an unreasonable amount of time necessarily, and it is kind of realistic, right? Like you'll be on a plane taxiing out to a runway. Sometimes you have to wait a couple of minutes for the plane ahead of you to take off, or a plane to land, or whatever it might be. So, I mean, yes, this is very busy. I would imagine that a fair chunk of this being busy is because of general aviation. I think if things get really bad, we can turn off general aviation. I'd like to not do that, or we can give them their own runway, but that's unlikely because I don't really think we're gonna have the room for it, but we'll see what happens. I'm not wanting to turn it off yet. This is cool looking. I like this, so we'll see what happens. And wouldn't you know, as soon as I speak about, potentially having to turn things off, and just as we hit 157 flights in one day, we do have some tailback issues down here, which are probably being caused by a little bit of general aviation trying to get through there, which is fine. There's a thing we can do just before we maybe consider getting rid of general aviation. We can extend the time between flights by 5 minutes. We'll go from 15 to 20 minutes and see how that does for the airport. Hopefully that's good for us. Hopefully that works out. I'm determined to not have a third runway here. I really don't think we need it. Everything about the game at the minute is pointing at me and saying you absolutely do need it, but sure, we'll figure it out is what we're gonna do. I also think I might change. I know I keep saying just before we wrap things up, I'm gonna change how people get in and out of the of this area. Now there's a lot of people coming and going here, but I don't like how these guys come through straight into these seats. So we're gonna go for something a little bit asymmetrical is what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna bulldoze all of this for now, and I'm gonna sort of shuffle things over to the right a little bit, and we'll see how that goes. I do need my contractors to hurry up on this one, because this is going to slow down the process of people getting out of this part of the airport, which isn't exactly ideal. And to be fair, it's gonna be slower anyway, because we're gonna be going from like 9 to probably 4 checkpoints for your passport. But I mean, the thing is, we're not dealing with enormous flights necessarily. Like this one has 52 people going, 48 people come in. This one has 194, 187. So yes, okay, we are dealing with some large flights, but we should be able to manage. I'm hoping we can manage this. All right, so it turns out that I seriously underestimated just how many people want to get out of this part of the airport. Now, in saying that, I'm not entirely convinced that part of the problem here isn't people that got stuck with the 2 passport scanners, and this might filter through eventually, but we always have more people getting added to that queue. So this might be trouble for a little while. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens, but I do prefer this, as it just seems neater, despite everything pointing towards the idea that it might not be all that much neater. What it is, at the very least, is, I think, time to leave it there for today, because we are, in fact, making a little bit of money. We've made 316,000 today, and that's without any huge money-making shops in this. Oh my God, wow. That's a lot of people. No wonder my frames are terrible right now. Oh my God. That is horrifying. That is a horrifying number of people. Oh my God. What are we missing in here? We need passengers, 53 passenger service agent jobs available, a lot of janitors, a lot of ramp agents. Okay. Oh wow. That's hell is what that is. That is a nightmare for me. We might have some baggage problems around this airport. It's very difficult to tell. I mean, the planes are coming and going fine, but all of these people just sitting in here, I am not so sure about that. Oh, wow. I thought it was bad inside the airport. This is... I've never seen anything like that before. I do want to make sure that this is all... there's our problem. These guys are not a part of the terminal. This might actually help us out a little bit, having these subways as a part of the terminal now, because that should hopefully take a lot of that foot traffic. And it looks like instantly we have thousands of people moving into those subways, which I am very hopeful is going to do wonders for my frame rate. So I think as the sun rises, there is no better time. Oh my God, has it frozen? It's saving. That's why it's taking forever. I think as the sun rises, there's no better time to say that we're going to leave it there for today. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure as always. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.